The language police, a phenomenon particularly of the left. You know, I'm going to deviate for a second. I wasn't planning on talking about this, but let me just talk about why I like to rag on the left so much. Look, I think there are people who are right, like straight right, not center right, not mainstream conservative, but like right wing, and they are inconsistent on a lot of issues. But today, I'm looking at the people that I once called allies, and I see them as totally inconsistent authoritarians. I just watched a video where it's from like earlier this year, where a bunch of anti-fascists storm a young Republicans meeting, calling them fascists, and they're like, "You're welcome to sit down and debate us," and they're like, "No, you're fascist," and they're like, "You're literally being the fascists." Like, you can't show up, tell people what to do, and then claim they're the authoritarians. It doesn't work that way. We got this article. I'm not going to read through the whole thing. I want to point out some language police BS, but it says, the problem with, quote, "Hey guys." All right. A broad coalition of English speakers, teachers, retail workers, ice cream scoopers, and plenty of others is grasping for a more inclusive greeting. Language police are trying to redefine the words we use. Remember the video I made like a week ago about how Healthline is saying we're going to call a vagina a front hole? Well, I can already tell you that I've spoken with some women who say front hole is offensive. And they said it's not a front hole, it's an underhole. And they're offended by the term because it's like taking, I mean, they're facetious, obviously. It seems like the people that oppose language police and really oppose fascism and authoritarianism don't like these people either, all right? So, okay guys, a female coworker of mine recently began as she addressed me and a female colleague. Then she stopped herself, said she was making an effort to use more gender-neutral language and carried on talking. I don't know anybody who uses the word guys that way to mean men only. Like when you say, "Hey guys," you're referring to everybody, right? I understand guys and gals, and the word guy typically refers to a dude, but it can be gender neutral, right? Like Spanish, for instance. There are a lot of words that are masculine in their form, but are gender neutral when used in certain context. There's nothing wrong with that, but apparently to this people, there is something wrong with that. Now, there's a lot of arguments as to why people want to police language, and it's because, this is a fact, language defines our reality. It really, really does. There are words in certain languages that can't be translated. And that means there is some kind of feeling that is experienced by a group of people because they have they have the language to understand it. They have a feeling that can't be translated accurately, right? There are some words that are super short, you know, that'll be like one syllable, but to translate it would be like two sentences, which is, you know, I talked about this in a previous video, that it seems like people who are bilingual kind of get this more. That they understand this. If you speak different languages, it's almost like a different way of viewing the world in how you speak. Some languages are more descriptive than others. Some languages have words for some things and not others. It was a small self-correction and a glimpse at the conflicted feelings stirred up by one of the most common greetings in the English language. Guys is an easygoing way to address a group of people. But too many, it's a symbol of exclusion. A word with an originally male meaning that is frequently used to refer to people who don't consider themselves guys. And seriously, is that it? My coworker is one of many who have started editing themselves in response to this exclusion. In the course of reporting this story, I heard from teachers who wanted a better way to get students' attention, an ice cream scooper who wanted a better way to greet customers, and a debate coach who was specifically encouraged a student to use y'all. To be completely honest, I actually use y'all. I say y'all. You maybe noticed that in some of my videos. I think it's because my dad's from Texas, and he said y'all, so I like saying y'all. It has nothing to do with gender inclusivity, but hey, you know what? Maybe y'all should start saying y'all and not guys, if that makes everybody happy. But I gotta admit, the language police trying to, this is not the most authoritarian thing I've read. I mean, these are people saying they want to do better. Okay, fine, I get that. The language police we'll get to in a second. But you know what? When I see this attempt at changing language, I kind of want to just say guys, just to be like, you can't tell me what to do. I'll do what I want. These are representatives of a broad coalition of people who have contemplated and often gone through with excising guys from their vocabularies. Okay. There are a lot of words that have dual meanings. The left uses some words in some ways, the right doesn't. Racism, most notably. So here's what I'm going to do for you. Well, let me just pull up my tweet. This is what I tweeted. This is the Oxford definition of racist. Anyone who tells you racist means something else is trying to sell you something, probably an ideology. If you can't trust the Oxford Dictionary, I don't know who you can trust. Now let's look at the Oxford definition of racist. A person who shows or feels discrimination or prejudice against people of other races, or who believes that a particular race is superior to another. Keep in mind that little or right there, or the adjective. Showing or feeling discrimination or prejudice against the people of other races, or believing that a particular race is superior to another. Now, notice that it says of other races. That's interesting, because that says to me that a white person who attacks white people isn't being racist. And if we're going to go by the Oxford Dictionary, okay, we can play that game of other races. So if you're a white person who criticizes white people specifically, then that's not racist, because you're referring to your own race. However, if Sarah Jeong is not white and rags on white people for several years, according to the Oxford Dictionary, she is a racist. I don't understand why this is so hard for so many news outlets. They were saying, like, the BBC first called her tweets racist. They are, according to the Oxford Dictionary. But this is why the language police do what they do. Because if you can say it's not racist, then you can claim the moral high ground and then try and convince the normies to agree with you and vote in your direction. And that's terrifying. That's authoritarian manipulation and coercion. You are not being honest with people to get them to come around to some idea. You are literally lying to them to change the definition of words so that you can win. And that is entirely fucked up. But while we're here at Miss Sarah Jeong's Twitter account, I want to first say this. For the love of God, people, please don't tweet at her. I did a tweet about a journalist last week, and a bunch of people started tweeting at her, and I said, please don't do that. You know why I say please don't do that? First of all, I believe Sarah Jeong might be a detestable individual who's entirely racist, but we don't want to make things worse. And they're going to start blaming me for just simply criticizing this person. By all means, if you want to criticize them, I can't tell you what to do. I'm just asking you to do me a favor, not go from my video and start hounding other people on other platforms. Sarah Jeong has a right to be on Twitter. Technically, she's violating the rules of Twitter, so she should be banned. But if Twitter's going to leave her on, let her tweet, okay? If a journalist wants to lie and post fake news, I'm going to tell you. But if you go to them and start tweeting things at them because of the video you saw from me, they will come after me and try to get my content removed. That's the concern. By all means, criticize whoever you want. But if you start brigading based off of my criticism of individuals, you're going to screw me over. And look, I know people are going to do it on purpose. There's nothing I can do about it. But it is what it is. As long as I say I don't like when people do this, that's the best I can do. I want to point something out, though. Sarah Jeong has been tweeting recently. She came back after the whole controversy. It almost seems like she's not actually tweeting at all. This tweet here from a day ago, 146 responses. Interesting. This one has 120 responses. This one has 139 responses, 145. You see where I'm going with this. Every single tweet she's put out since the controversy is inundated with responses. Do you know what those responses are? Yeah, everyone hates Sarah Jeong now, apparently. So this tweet, why do you hate white people? Then there's some innocuous comments. There's people trying to comment just to comment. Love these responses. Guess internet pylons are only fun when they're not aimed at you, huh, Sarah? Why you hate the whites, dough? There's a lot of people. This is basically on every single one. Just copies of all of her tweets. The thing is, the language police would like to remove the word racist from what Sarah Jeong did, and it's working. The BBC said they took the race, they put racist in quotes, they removed it from their lead. Many news outlets said that apparently racist. Even Wikipedia struggled among their editors to say that what she did was racist. But you're going to have to tell me why. If the Oxford Dictionary says that a person who shows or feels discrimination or prejudice against the people of other races is racist, why can't news organizations say she's racist? Why? Because the language police don't want to lose the moral high ground. And I'm going to point something else out too. Fox News is the #1 cable channel. You may have watched my several videos I've done on this so far. And when you combine CNN and MSNBC, Fox News is still higher. And NewsGuard said Fox News is credible and reliable, and everyone freaked out. The establishment is shocked to find, okay, there's an article from Nieman Lab, which is a Harvard University journalism think tank kind of dealie. And they asked whether or not NewsGuard would give Fox News a fair rating. Why would they ask that? Why would Nieman Lab have to ask if Fox News is credible? Because certainly conservatives think it is, and they think CNN is fake news. And there's your establishment bias. Obviously, universities are so biased towards the left that when NewsGuard comes out, they actually go, is Fox News fake news? Why would you ask that? I'm going to sit here and say, I know conservatives think Fox News is fair. I know the left thinks it's fake. And I know the right thinks CNN is fake. And I know the left thinks CNN isn't fake. It's called partisan, nonsense. So when the New York Times says Sarah John, what you did, we don't condone it, but we're going to keep her on board. And the Oxford Dictionary says what she did is racist, then you know the New York Times is an establishment left institution. Because I really doubt many right-wing places would keep racist people in their ranks. You know, and I mean like Fox News. Obviously, there are a lot of far right and you know, far left things that have tons of racists and would kick out racists too. But let me just say, the language police are now coming for the word guys. Even though we all use guys in an informal way that mean just, it's gender inclusive. They're calling it exclusive when it's literally inclusive. Isn't that what's crazy? And I'll end with this. I can walk outside. I can go to the mall. I can walk up to a random person, say, hey guys, and you know what they're gonna do? What's up? That's it. I can walk up to a random person. I went to a skate park. Went up to some random people, said, what do you think about Trump? And they're like, oh, I don't like him. And I said, do you think that Trump supporters are fascist? And they were like, what? No. Normal people aren't stuck in this weird world with the rest of us. And I'm so happy for them. Anyway, like I mentioned in my video yesterday at the end of the day, I'm hoping to have videos up at 10 a.m. every day, which are going to be quicker one-shots, but more news-focused. These videos are obviously my heavy opinion on issues. The videos on my main channel are always going to be more about news and circumstance. So hopefully I can continue with 10 a.m. videos every day and 4 p.m. videos every day, because I'm a mad person. And I really want to increase my workload to the point where my head explodes. They talk about YouTube burnout, but not me. I'm doing 5 videos per day. How about that?